What's good? This is Trey, and the topic of this video is how to make a girl like you. All right. So, another way to put that is how to get a girl to feel attraction for you, to the point where she sees you as a romantic interest. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse engineer. I'm going to look at specific girls who I have created attraction in or made them attracted to me to the point where they were seeing me as a romantic interest. So I'm gonna go through how I did that, and then you should be able to get an understanding of the steps you'd want to take. If you have a specific girl in mind that maybe you're working on, you're trying to create attraction in her or increase attraction, whatever the case may be. You can kind of get some tips or some advice on how you can really get her to see you as a potential mate or somebody that she should start, paying attention to in that way, right? So let's talk about some of the things that trigger attraction in a woman in like a general way. So like this will work for most women, right? Because we have to understand every woman is different in a sense, because they all have their unique characters. But there are some qualities that majority of women look for on a biological level. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna take credit for this. I learned this from Mystery, who one of the people who started the whole pickup industry, the whole idea of picking up women and like making it like an artistic, scientific kind of thing. He was one of the people who started that. So he has he basically said that men are mainly attracted to replication value and women are mainly attracted to survival value, right? And there are some things you can trigger in a woman. There's certain qualities you can demonstrate that would trigger attraction in a woman. One of them is healthy emotions, right? So basically demonstrating to a woman that you are healthy in an emotional way, meaning you're not insecure, where she can kind of like manipulate you and control you emotionally. You know what I mean? Like you're happy when it's time to be happy. You're mad when it's time to be mad. You're, indifferent when it's time to be indifferent. Like she needs to see that you're stable emotionally, like you're strong emotionally, because most women are kind of, can be all over the place emotionally. You know what I mean? Or maybe they enjoy being emotional, right? So a lot of them are looking for a man who can provide that stability, so they don't let their emotions kind of like take them to places they don't want to be or put them in situations they don't want to be in, right? It's good for them. It's good to have a man that can sort of bring the logic, bring the order to the chaos, right? So healthy emotions. Another one is leader of men. So basically, women are, when they see a man who has influence and power to the point where he can lead other men, especially if it's other strong men. If a man can lead if other men are willing to follow a man, that is a survival value. But obviously there's levels to it, right? So like if you are a leader of men who have a lot of value, or strong men, or men who have a lot of character, that will obviously trigger a stronger emotion than maybe a guy who just leading a bunch of dweebs, you know what I mean, or leading some guys who are kind of like irrelevant or whatever, you know what I mean. So there's obviously different ways to demonstrate sort of leader of men, but the point is, if you can any way you can demonstrate to a woman that you are willing and able to lead other men, other people in general, men, women, whatever, it can trigger attraction. Healthy emotions, leader of men, successful risk taker. So basically demonstrating to her that you're not a pussy, that you can step up and take risk and, you can also succeed with your risk, right? You're not like taking risk and always failing, right? You know, even something like approaching, when you approach a woman, um, you know, in the setting where most people wouldn't do it, that's demonstrating successful risk taker, right? Um, Obviously, the success is kind of up to her in a sense, like whether she accepts you or not. But a lot of times, whether she accepts you or not, is you're still demonstrating a successful risk taker in the sense that you're approaching her and you're successful in the sense of you're successful at approaching her. It's not like you approached her and you had a heart attack, or you approached her and you know what I mean? Like something really bad happened. Nothing bad happened. So you were successful in your approach. So that even something as simple as that can show successful risk taker. But basically she wants to see that you are a man who can step into the unknown and make shit happen. Um, the other one, uh, protector of loved ones. She wants to know that you are the kind of man that will step up and protect those who you love and who you care about, right? She, if she sees you in a situation where there's a threat in the environment and you basically like just tuck tail and run, and you know what I mean? Like let's say you're with your family or with your friends, and you know she kind of just gets the vibe from you that you just gonna run, like you're just gonna take off. You don't care about anybody else's life except your own. You know, that's unattractive to her, because on a biological level she needs to know that you can protect her and you can protect you know, if she was to have a child by you, you can protect the child. She needs to know that, right? So if she can see that quality in you, that will trigger attraction. Okay. Another one is pre-selection. Pre-selection, basically you are selected by other women. Other women are interested in you. Other women are attracted to you, despite what the advice that you may have been given growing up, or maybe the what's it called, conventional advice, or whatever the shit that people tell you that they try to push on you that's true, but it's actually not true, right? They make it seem like you're supposed to hide the fact that you get women. You know, if you a woman, if you can clearly see this, you deal with women, you see they're always going for the guy who gets women, right? Like let's just stop pretending like that's not what's happening. They're always going for the guy who gets women. So you want to be that guy, basically. You want to have and display that you have women interested in you. And she needs to know that, because what that tells her on a biological level is that you have value, that you have some significance, you have some influence, and there's a reason for her to want to be with you, you know, because you have some kind of power. You're not just a nobody. You know what I mean? You're not just like this guy that nobody gives a shit about. You know, you actually have something of value, and that's why other women are interested in you, right? So I think those are the main ones. Might be another one in there, but I can't think of. I think those are the main. Those are the main survival values that you can demonstrate based on what Mystery put out. And from my experience, I found that when I look at the women that I have attracted in my life, romantically or sexually or whatever, those qualities have been demonstrated in some way, shape, or form. All right. Some of them have been demonstrated indirectly, some of them directly, but yeah, those are like the triggers that trigger that bodily emotion, right? The one that she cannot ignore, right? Because you got to understand that attraction is not a choice. It's not something that we consciously choose, right? There is some conscious parts to it, but majority of it is subconscious. You know what I mean? It's what's going on below the surface, right? You know what I mean? So you can create attraction in a woman, and she will feel it. And you know the way how you know if a woman is feeling attraction for you is by her actions, not what she says, right? You do want to listen to what she says, but where you really want to pay attention to is her actions. Is she giving you compliance? Does she want to spend time with you? Is she responding to your messages? Is she, you know what I mean? Don't listen to what she may give you some logical reason to why she's doing something. And it could literally not be that. It could be something completely different. So that's why you don't really want to listen too much to what she's saying all the time, and pay more attention to what she's doing, right? So let me make sure I'm clear. I'm not saying don't listen to what she says. I'm saying pay more attention to what she does versus what she says, because what she does will tell you where you are with her, right? Unless she's like some Buddhist monk or something that has complete control of her emotions. If she's really feeling attraction for you, it should be clear in some way, right? If you will see, you will get some form of compliance from her, or she will make time for you, right? But you have to be, you want to be out there. You want to be talking to women and having experiences with women, so you can gauge and know where you are as far as attraction goes. Because if you're only talking to like one woman a year, and I love to use that exaggeration, but what I mean is, like, you're not really out there. You're just kind of just taking what you can get here and there. It's like you're not really getting enough experience to see patterns, to understand female psychology like that, like see what they do and little subtle things they do. Like, you got to be able to detect these things if you really want to be effective with them. So yeah, so when it comes to like getting a woman to feel attraction for you, you want to look at those qualities, see if you can display them. We already know the obvious ones. What is it? Looks, money, and status, right? Those are the obvious ones. Can't deny that. Looks, right? So your how you look, how good looking are you? You know, that plays a part. You know, and if you can make yourself, you know, not everybody's like good looking, like not everybody can be good looking like that, but you can make yourself look interesting, you know, look cool. You know, if you're not necessarily good looking like that, make yourself look cool, make yourself look interesting. Like, don't look generic, don't look regular, right? If you want to, you got to remember, if you find a woman attractive, there's probably other guys that find her attractive, which means there's competition. You have to, in order to get a woman, you have to beat the competition. You have to beat the other suitors. Like, you have to be aware that it's a competition. It's not a, you know, you can try to get lucky, but I'm not playing that game. I understand it's a competition, and I will play the game, you know, according to that, right? I know it's a competition. It's not like, you're not fighting with swords and stuff, but you're fighting with qualities, with character, with value. You know, that's how you play the game. You demonstrate those things, and you do it better than every other guy. So the key things I'm noticing with whatever women I've attracted in my life is those core qualities were there. Let's look at looks, money, status. Looks, money, status, right? Looks, okay. When it comes to looks, I believe in maximizing your looks to the best of your ability. For me, what I've done is I've maximized my physique, body weight wise, right? So I don't necessarily lift weights and stuff, but I definitely do body weight exercises. So the way I like to think of it is like from a natural point of view. If we're looking at like my natural maximum, meaning let's say we were out in the jungle, we wouldn't necessarily have bench presses and stuff like that. I mean, maybe somebody would invent it at some point, but you know, we wouldn't really have all that stuff. So what would we have to do? We'd have to use our body weight. We'd have to do push-ups. We'd have to do sit-ups. We'd have to do pull-ups. So that's kind of how I see the looks maximizing my looks is like, I want to be maxed out from a natural point of view, right? So I'm not necessarily, you can go as far as to pump iron and all that, but me personally, I did not go that route. I just maximize myself as far as body weight exercise goes, right? So I believe in that. I believe in hygiene. I believe in smelling good, having good hygiene, cleaning up your, having a nice haircut. You know what I mean? Accessories. You know what I mean? Obviously, I wear accessories. I believe in maximizing, right? But you gotta find a look that works for you, right? You don't want to try to be something and it just looks like you just look like you're trying too hard, or you're trying to be something that you're not. You gotta go out and live and look at what you're attracted to, as far as like what you find aesthetic, what you find attractive in you can look at a guy and say, oh, that guy looks cool, you know what I mean? And then you can kind of look at maybe some things he has that you can also have. Maybe you like tattoos, you're gonna get some tattoos. Maybe you like piercing, you're gonna get some piercing. You know what I mean? You want to maximize how you look. So that's looks. Money. Man, if I personally, when I look at the women I've attracted in my life, I don't think money was a huge factor for me personally. Maybe some people, they use money as one of their main qualities that attract women. Me personally, it wasn't so much. You want to have money, like you want to be able to take care of yourself and handle your business and shit. But I didn't. It's not like I was flexing money or showing off money wise. Like some of these girls that I attracted in my life, they were, willing to like spend money when we would go on dates and stuff like that, and it was no issue. It's not like they were like, oh, you got to pay for this and you should have this. Nah, I wasn't getting any of that. And I think it's because I was demonstrating a lot of other qualities that were good, you know what I mean, that were attractive. So the money didn't matter as much, right? But I believe in maximizing everything to the best of your ability. There was a time where I was really focused on money. I mean, there was a time where money was like one of my main focuses, and I remember at that time when I was kind of going after it, I remember having a good amount of money in my account, and at the time I didn't really understand women and I wasn't really good with them. And what I found was I had money, but I didn't know how to get women. So it kind of didn't matter for me personally. You know what I mean? Like, so I think money does play a factor. Like, it is a good quality to have, but if you don't understand how to interact with a woman, you can have money and you can still turn her off, or she can play you. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't really understand women like that, you can get manipulated into spending money and not really getting the compliance that you're really looking for like that. You know what I mean? And then obviously there's levels to it. Like, I'm sure if you're a millionaire, that's a whole different level. You know what I mean? So I can't really speak on that. But as far as like having like good money, meaning you not only are you able to take care of yourself, but you have a lot of money or a good amount of money saved up and stuff like that. I've been in that position without game, without understanding female psychology. It wasn't it wasn't ideal in my opinion. Like, I got to see that money's cool, but like if you like women and you don't understand women and you're not naturally good with women, I don't think money is necessarily going to save you like that. You know what I mean? And even if it does, like I said, you could get manipulated into spending money unnecessarily. You know what I mean? So I would say definitely you want to be able to take care of yourself money-wise and stuff. You want to, if you can, get to a point where you could take care of other women financially. I think that's cool too. It shouldn't be like the primary thing you're using to get them, but it is cool to be able to support a woman that you find attractive. You know what I mean? Because then she doesn't have to look elsewhere for that. You know what I mean? Like, you can be like this, this guy that just has all these different qualities, and she's just floored because it's like, wow, how is he so on point? Right? So for that reason, I do see the value in having as much money as you can, right? Just so that other guy She's not looking at other guys for that. Okay. Status for sure. I would say status definitely. If you want to maximize this as the best of your ability, um, and I mean that's just pretty straightforward. Status basically demonstrates to a woman that you have influence. You know what I mean? That you are in a position of power. Um, and that's always gonna help. You know what I mean? Because going back to what Mystery said, women are looking for survival value, and a man who has influence, a man who has a following, a man who is in a position of power, it will be able to survive better than those below him, right? So she's looking at status, she's looking at the social hierarchy, she's looking at that stuff too, right? So you want to pay attention to everything. You want to see where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, where you know what I mean. You want to be aware of everything, and you want to understand it's a competition. So if there's a girl out there who you're interested in, and she's not really seeing, like she's not really putting her attention in your direction that much, you want to look at these different areas we're talking about and see how you can maximize them. Bring them up so you start showing up on her radar. You know what I mean? So we talked on those. Now let's look at the woman too. Now you also want to pay attention to where the woman's focus is going, right? That's why it's good to have them on social media. You know what I mean? You want to be in communication with whatever woman you're trying to get. You want to be in some form of communication, even if, some people are afraid of the friend zone. Even if you're in the friend zone, like, you know what I mean? You can just look at it as a long-term thing. Like when you're in the friend zone, what happens is you're in communication with her, so you can kind of see where her attention's going and what she's interested in and what she's attracted to. You know what I mean? You can look at the different guys maybe she paying attention to and maybe try to decode what it is she finds attractive about those guys. You know what I mean? And don't just, like I said, don't just listen to what she says. Like, pay attention to her actions. You know what I mean? Pay attention to the subtle things that are going on. You know what I mean? Pay attention to what she's not saying, right? So basically, the goal is to somehow demonstrate to this woman that if she aligns with you, that her survival will increase, whatever that means to her. Every woman is different. Every woman's in a different situation. For some women, survival is more so about her emotions, like a guy who can make her happy, a guy who can make her smile, a guy who can make her laugh, a guy who can make her feel positive, a guy who can make her feel hope, a guy who can make her feel, you know what I mean, courage. Like basically a guy who can create the feelings in her that she wants, right? And every woman's different. Some women, they're already in a good position financially, so they're not really looking for that. Some women are not in a good position financially, and they are looking for a guy who's financially secure. You know what I mean? You got to look at the woman you're dealing with. What values is she looking for? You know what I mean? Forget about, trying to be the best looking guy. Forget about trying to be the richest guy. Forget about trying to be the guy that's the highest status. Obviously maximize those to your best of your ability, but more so focus on the qualities that you've been given from God, the universe, nature, whatever you want to call it, and how you can, demonstrate those qualities and create this unique persona. Because when I look at the game, when I'm competing, I'm not trying to compete with guys on the shit that they can beat me on. I'm trying to create a unique character that stands out, and you can't really, and it's kind of like you want to create a character that's irreplaceable, right? So it's so unique. You want to become so unique that when she starts seeing you, like if she sees you as attractive and she starts to like you or whatever, and she gets with you, she needs to see you in a light where it's like, if she leaves you, she's not gonna find another guy like you. Like, you actually want to get to that point for real. You know, not just as like a cliche thing to say, but like for real, get to that point. You know, there are some men who are at that level, right? And you gotta ask yourself, am I the kind of guy that if a woman gets with me and she leaves, she won't be able to find another guy like me? That's why you don't want to be like these. It's cool to have an archetype, you know what I mean? Like be a rocker or be a athlete, or be, it's cool to be that, but you want to be a unique that, because if you're just that, she can find another that. She can find another rocker. She can find another romantic guy. She can find another jock. She can find, you know what I mean? But she can't find a unicorn. You know what I mean? And basically what I'm saying is she can't find like a guy who is very unique in his own way and just has all these different qualities, but a interesting mix and combination of qualities where it's like, yo, you're not gonna find another guy like that. You know, so that's the kind of guy you want to become. You want to be the guy that comes in the game, and it's like, you know, he's not trying to be nobody else. He's just trying to be himself, but like a valuable version of himself. You feel me? Like, I don't like, you know, when I was just coming up and learning learning how to pick up women and how to interact with women, I would see advice. They would always say, be yourself. And where I'm at now is like, I don't know if I agree with that advice the way how it's worded. I think what is ideal, because if somebody is being themselves and that was working, they wouldn't be trying to get advice. You see what I'm saying? So if they're trying to get advice and you tell them be yourself, it's like, yo, that's what I was doing. I was being myself, or I was trying to be myself, or I don't even know what myself is. You know what I mean? Like that was the issue with that. So what I think is better is to tell them, be your best self. So what does that mean? Your best self, to me, that means that you should be always improving, because your best self is a potential, right? It's not like a static thing. Like, you can keep getting better and better. So to me, what that means is, as a man, you should focus on maximizing your qualities that you have, you know, the attractive qualities that you have. And yeah, like, just become a beast, you know, become, you know, like, achieve some shit, like really go after your goals, go after your purpose, and become like a really cool version of yourself. Become a version of yourself that if you were in a movie, you would be like, yo, that dude's cool. You know, that's the kind of guy I want to be, right? And if you're not there yet, that means there's work to do. You know, if you were observing yourself go through life and you wouldn't say, oh, that guy's cool, like, I want to be like that guy. If you wouldn't say that right now, that means you have improvement to do. That means you need to start pushing yourself. You need to start growing. You need to start challenging yourself and become more powerful and become more attractive, right? So, you know, basically, when it comes to like making a woman like you, like I said, you want to look at those survival value triggers we talked about in the beginning of the video. Then you want to look at looks, money, and status. What, you know, where are you in her perception in those areas? Then you want to look at where her attention goes. You know, look at what guy she's interested in and that kind of thing. You know, like, even when I look at some of the girls that I've attracted, some of them, they kind of voice this to me. It's like, whatever archetype I was at the time was similar to an archetype of like their dream guy. You know, like, for example, some girls are into like rappers, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, if my archetype kind of fits like a rapper, like a rapper archetype, then I can attract those kind of girls, because obviously they want the actual rapper, like whoever that hot rapper is, they would want him, but they don't have access to him. So they're gonna go down to the closest thing they can get. And that's their perception, right? So maybe I'm not a rapper, maybe I don't care about that, but if I fit that archetype in her eyes, that's all that matters, right? In her perception. So You know what I mean? So you want to pay attention to stuff like that. So, you know, look at the archetypes that she's interested in. You know, that girl that you find attractive. Look at what type of guy she normally goes for. Um, but yeah, man, like I think this is a topic that we could keep going into different, looking at different things. But I think I covered the main things that you wanna look into, and like obviously, uh, um, you know what I mean, every girl, like, you know, every girl is in a different situation. There's a whole bunch of different factors that play into um her attraction, like external factors, you know what I mean? Like where she's located, how many options she has, you know, all those things you got to take into consideration. So sometimes you can do almost everything right and still not get the girl because of some other external shit that's going on. And you can't be mad at that, you know what I mean? Like as long as you give it your best shot, you give it your best game, you play your best game, play your cards right. You know what I mean? Even if you don't get that girl, if you did things, you know, if you've been working on yourself, if you've been applying yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, you will attract some other woman or women. You know what I mean? Even if it's not that specific one. There's been cases where I'll go after a specific girl, but then I'll sort of realize, you know what, maybe she's not the right one. And then I'll sort of see another one, maybe kind of similar to her, but it's a better fit. You know, maybe she lives closer to me, or maybe she's more compliant, or you know what I mean? But you just want to play the game, man, and you want to focus more so on being attractive to many women and not just one woman. Like there are some times where you're gonna find a woman that you really want, and you should give your best effort to get her. But in the grand scheme, I think you should focus more on being attractive to lots of women, right? Be attractive to lots of women, so then you have the pre-selection going. And when you do go after a woman, you're not gonna be so thirsty or so attached because you actually have abundance. You know what I mean? So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or anything, depending on where you're seeing this video, there should be some way to get in contact with me. You can ask me questions. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.